What's up, dude?
How we doing?
Not too bad. You hear me okay? Everything? I can hear you okay.
Yeah, everything's good.
Fuck yeah, dude. How you been? What's up? We haven't even talked in like forever, dude. How you been?
I know I've been great, just living life, taking the punches as they go, but just grinding. I mean,
How That's all you need to do, man. As long as you're grinding, that's all you need to do.
what
Hell
about
yeah.
you?
Good to hear. It's same thing, dude. We all got a bunch of shit going on. We're adults now, busting our ass, doing what we need to do. But we're doing it and we're trying our best. So
Yeah, how was that live show you were just at? That's pretty dope, by the way.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was kind of like a last minute thing, dude. My buddy texted me. He was like, hey, want to play in Somerville? My girl's like getting out of work soon, and we can just kind of play in front of her shop for an hour, play a couple of our originals. And that's what we did. We got our acoustics. We went to Somerville. We just sat down and started playing.
So you in a band or you just play and you have your own songs?
Yeah, so I'm in a band. It's me, buddy of mine, Richie. We both play guitar and we both sing our original songs, and then we got a bassist and a drummer as well.
That's
We're
awesome. What's the
Yeah,
band called?
it's called Laika. We named our band after the first dog to go into space, that Russian space dog from like the 50s. Have
No,
you heard of it?
I didn't even like honestly, I don't really pay attention to shit like that. I didn't even know a dog went into space. Like I've seen like in movies and shit, they would send like chimps, but I didn't even know a dog went.
Exactly. So like 50 somethings in Russia, some like Russian space company put a dog, like first dog to ever go into space. It was basically like a suicide mission. They just freaking sent him up there. It was like, we're gonna send this dog up there, see how he does, and like that's it. Fuck him. It was like the
Send it.
super. It's crazy. It's a sad story, and yeah, his name was Laika. So that's our name. We named him after the dog.
Did the dog make it back?
Nope. Sad story. Didn't
Bro,
make it.
that's like when you watching a movie and the dog dies and you're just like heartbroken. Like I Am Legend. Like I was
Yeah,
more heartbroken when the dog died than when Will Smith died.
me too. I kind of like assumed Will Smith was gonna die, so like I was more pissed about the dog for sure.
Yeah.
I hate them, and I hate seeing animals die in like movies, TV. Oh, it's hard. Like, what's that one? Marley and Me.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
killers, man. I love animals. Animals like are my whole deal.
They're
And
just so pure.
exactly, yeah, they're innocent. They're not freaking being a snake for no reason. They're not being an asshole to you for no reason. They're
They
just loving life,
just
loving
give them
you.
food and some pets and that's it. That's all they
They're
need.
set. They're set
I
for
wish it
life.
was
They're
that
good.
simple.
If only, man. I think about that all the time. I just look at like cats or dogs are just chilling out, like hanging in the corner. It's like, damn, must be nice to be a dog.
Yeah,
you
legit.
know,
Especially if like you're
literally.
a cat, like you have like your own like cats like don't follow any type of rules. Like dogs, you have to train them. You have to like kind of baby them like they're kids. Like you have to like discipline them. Cat is just like chill Bill. Like you just go around walking, doing your thing. And
Mhm.
you get somebody to feed you and pick up your shit after you. It's like they get the best of everything.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, I think I'd rather be a cat because, like, over time, dogs, like you said, you really got to train them. You got to work them up. You got to like do a lot for dogs. But cats, they're out of the womb, dude. They're doing their own thing. They do whatever the hell they want.
Like
It's
nobody expects anything of them. Like when you have a dog, it's like, all right, like I expect this dog to like want to go for walks with me, want to go like to the beach, like to
Mhm.
behave, not
Of
to
course.
drool over me, like
Don't
so
bark
on and
too
so on.
much.
A cat's like, yo, as long as that thing just kind of like stands there and like looks cute, like you can hang.
Exactly. Sometimes he comes next to me. We hang out, watch TV. But other than that, whatever.
That's the life.
Cats are the best. I love it. Yeah, it's freaking my whole band. We love dogs. Like my buddy of mine, he has a dog named Charlie. This little like border collie named Charlie. Oh my god, dude, adorable little dog. Like loves everybody, loves people. Our logo is Charlie, the little dog. It's like a dog like in space, and oh, it's adorable, man.
Do you
Love
have
it,
a
love it.
picture of it?
Oh, of course, yeah, I can send you over if you want,
Yeah, send me a picture of that.
for sure. Yeah, I'll do it right now. I got her as a pup too. Oh, dude, when she was a pup, she was so tiny. Oh, I love puppies, man.
Well,
Puppies
well,
are
send me the puppy picture and then also send me the band picture. I want to see everything.
oh oh hell yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll send it over.
All right,
We
bro.
we haven't gigged in like forever, man. COVID's been such a killer for like live music, like any type of like public event, dude. It's crazy. Sick of it, dude. Sick
So,
of it.
what type of places did you guys gig at?
We used to try to gig at some bars. We went to this place in Lynn. I don't even remember what it was called. This small dive bar. We went to Sammy's in Revere.
Yeah.
We hit Sammy's a couple times. Oh, Sammy's was a blast. I love it over there. I feel like a lot of bands get to play there. It's good shit. There's a couple places in New Hampshire that we're gonna be playing like at the end of the summer. super stoked for that. Basically just like bars and like event tables and shit. We're doing a benefit. We're going up to Maine. I don't know what city, but like northern, pretty up by in Maine. We're doing a benefit show for my buddy's girlfriend. He has they have a dog like rescue. So they rescue like old dogs. It's basically like a dog like housing shelter for like older like dying dogs.
Yep.
And we're doing a benefit show for them to like raise money and awareness and stuff like that. It's good shit. Stoked for that.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I mean, just to be able to go around and have all these different experiences, like you're getting to travel. Like the way I think of it, I think of like sports, because like I play a lot of sports. It's like you're getting literally to travel like with your boys, like just to go do something you love. It's like, regardless if you're getting paid or not, it's like you get to go basically on vacation and just go like rip the guitar down, It's
exactly. That's why I do. There's so many reasons why music is like literally my whole life, like my whole deal. But like just like what you were saying, dude, is like a huge aspect of it. It's like just being able to go wherever you want, just to see like awesome venues, places you've never seen before with like you and your buddies, and just like doing shit that you love, doing shit that like makes you feel good. Like writing music for me is just like the biggest thing, because I write like about what's going on in my brain, like if I'm having a hard time with something, if I'm going through some shit, it's like I write about it, I express it like on paper, because it's a way to kind of really just evolve and like open your mind up and stuff, and it helps. And like being able to put it on paper and then like express it through music and like show people like what like means to me and stuff like that, it's awesome. It's a good time. It's really good. I love it.
That's so dope. You could take it to the next level, because I've, on occasion, I've always been into like journaling, like on the occasions where I got like some like deep shit like going on, like, my personal life, I've usually taken to like an outlet would be like, writing it down, journaling about it, just like pretty much everything that's on like my mind, like until I just can't go anymore. But that's awesome. It's like you basically do that, but you're making it into music, and then you get to further express it into song and into when you're playing like, with your band. Like that's awesome. That's like there's just levels to this shit,
Yeah, it's great. And like I remember when I first started playing music when I was like 15, 16, I really didn't really know much about it. I didn't really know what I was getting into. Like I was just kind of, fun. I'm having a good time playing guitar and stuff. But like I'm 23 right now, and like at this point in my life, it's like I really want to like go as far as I possibly can with my songwriting and like my brain, and writing things down, and just being able to like make money off it and just do things from it, and really like just build my life with it. Like I hope to buy a house in like 3-4 years, hopefully, when I'm like financially ready. And when I do, man, you bet your ass I'm gonna have like a music room, got like a studio in there, drums, guitar, dude, the whole 9 yards, man. My whole life is gonna be that shit. And like that's what it's all about, just finding something that you're really passionate about and working for it. And it's a wonderful thing, dude.
Bro, when you said all that, I just couldn't stop thinking of Step Brothers. How he has like the room with the guitar and everything. He's like, you put your nutsack on my drum set.
I didn't put my nutsack on your drum set.
I'm playing Moby Dick for real. Why no cops doesn't start till 4?
Oh my dude, I've seen that movie a million times. I can't.
It's too good. Every time it's on, I'll literally stop what I'm doing and just watch it. It's just too fun.
100%. Yeah, even if it gets censored. I hate when like movies get censored, like they censor all the swears out.
Yeah.
If it's Step Brothers, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it either way. I love it. It's just a great movie.
It's so hard to still watch it, but it's just too good. Like because like you watch it so many times just because it's on replay or just because it's so funny.
Of course, it's
always like all the words, so it doesn't even matter if it's like censored. It's like, yeah, like I'll just say this part like I'll fill in the gaps. I got you.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Me.
I got me. I've seen this 10 times. Like I know it's gonna happen, and I love it every time.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I'm like super cult followy. Like I love like my specific like movies, and like even just when it comes to music, songs, like inspiration is like my biggest thing. When I listen to music, you should see me, dude. Like my whole life, 90% of it is listening to music. When I'm not playing music, I'm listening to music.
Yeah.
It's just it's huge. It's like my whole life. Like certain bands, certain artists that I've like accumulated like over the years. Like I'm really into like modern like progressive rock nowadays. Like I remember when I first started, I was like a huge like Jimi Hendrix fan. I love Jimi Hendrix. Yep. Eric Clapton, just a lot of like the basic guys. And I mean, obviously they paved the way. So like, it's gotta be, they're doing something right for sure. But I've noticed I love getting into like modern, like progressive, just really, really like hard trying, like rock music and stuff like that, really progressive experimental music, because I feel like that's kind of what's been skyrocketing my playing and skyrocketing like my songwriting, just watching these dudes who like put out a phenomenal album like last year, and like just the guitar, the drums, the production, the the technology that goes into it. It's like that shit really interests me. Like the new like modern age rock like really hits hard for me for sure. That's all I'm doing. It's awesome.
What are some of your favorite bands?
Oh, don't get me started, man. My biggest inspirations, especially right now, like as I like continue my music career, I have a whole bunch of my favorite vinyls up on my wall right next to me. I love my collecting vinyls. Probably Hail the Sun. Hail the Sun is like probably like my biggest right now. Donovan Malero is the singer and drummer of Hail the Sun. And he got me into like finally getting a drum set. I've always been interested in playing drums. I play guitar for like 6-7 years now. And I finally just recently bought a drum set because of this guy, Donovan Malero. I was like, wow, this dude really knows how to play. Like the shit he does in his music, next level. Something I really got into with these guys.
So how'd you get started with the guitar? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, of course not. I started guitar when I was about 15. My dad, he's been a huge music guy like his whole life. He loved music too. And he's been a piano player for his whole life. And I remember when I was kind of getting through high school, he's like, hey, Jess, I really think you should start learning guitar. Like he bought a guitar for me when I was like 7 years old. And I never played it. It was too big for me. It was like an adult guitar. I was fucking tiny. I was like, I can't play this. But I remember like about the time I was like 15 years old, he's like, Jess, you should really like use that guitar, take guitar lessons. And I was like, you know what? Fine. Yeah, might as well, right? Why not? Wouldn't hurt. And yeah, that's how I got started. I started playing. I took lessons like twice a week, and boom, here we are. It's good shit. I love it. Yeah, I'm glad I did. And
now,
like,
did you take like legit lessons, or do you? I know a lot of people, they do like the YouTube tutorials.
So for guitar, I took legit lessons for about a year or two, like a little under 2 years. I went to this place in Melrose where I live, and I took some guitar lessons with this guy, and he kind of just showed me like basics, fundamentals, and stuff like that. And yeah, definitely helped out for sure. But I play saxophone right now, and I play drums right now. And for a while, I've been using YouTube tutorials, and like it's helped. I'm like a pretty good saxophone player now.
How the hell did you get into saxophone too? It's like you're doing everything, dude.
Yeah,
you could do like a one-man band. It's like you can go from each station to the next.
I do it all. I love it. I mean, since I've been playing guitar for so long, and like since music is such a big part of my life, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to start branching out. And Lisa Simpson, the saxophone player, she was like one of my biggest inspirations. I was like, wow, I really want to do that. I was really interested by it. So like last year, 2 years ago, well, yeah, about last year, I bought a saxophone and started playing, and like I love it, man. I like branching out. I like trying out different styles of music. I like incorporating all sorts of music into my specific playing, and it helps me become a better player, all around. It's good shit.
Yeah, you get to know the inner workings of everything, whether it be different instruments or different pieces, like because it's not like you just play, like you also write your own music, and then you were even saying you're interested in like all the technology and the behind the scenes stuff, like the
production's huge. Production's real huge. Yeah, like me and my buddy just started buying like recording equipment and stuff, so like a lot of the band stuff we do are going to be like recording it on our own, because our debut album we put out last year, it was good. I mean, the music was good. It was a lot of the shit I wrote in high school, so like it wasn't like crazy, but it was good enough, And we went to the studio, and the guy just did not really care about us, Like we gave him all this fucking money, dude, and he was just like yawning through our shit, and he was like, "Oh, whatever, put it all out in like a couple days," and that was it. We spent a lot of money on like some production that really wasn't like worth the money we spent,
Yeah.
So definitely now it's good to be getting into it ourselves. Definitely makes it an easier process for us for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel like with so many things nowadays, like this podcast, for example, like the way technology's evolved, so much stuff, you can just be like a self-starter. Like, as long as you want to dive into it and you got the money to get like the startup equipment, like you kind of can just get rolling.
Of course. That's like, as much as like I hate a lot of like today's society with like how people deal with like social media and like just the internet in general, and like how people act on the internet. It's like the world's crazy nowadays. I mean, it always has been, but especially now, I think the world's pretty crazy. But one thing that the internet did give us is like, just like you said, like the power is at our fingertips. Like anybody who wants to start up like anything they want, like anybody with dreams, aspirations, anything like that, we have a lot of that shit at our fingertips. Like there's a lot of things that we can do now that are a million times easier than it's ever been. And that's good shit. Like, especially as like someone who wants to create, it's good to have these tools at our fingertips. Like nobody else ever has, so that is a plus for sure.
And then full-time, like, cause you do all this like for side and for hobbies and whatnot. Full-time, you would still do HVAC, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love HVAC. I hated it for a while. I mean, any construction work you do, it's going to be a pain in the ass. But I mean, HVAC's good because like it's a growing trade. It's really moving forward, and it's good money no matter what you're doing. And it's a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it, especially now. Like the company I was with last year, 2 years ago, I was just a number, man. You know how it is. Like I was in there, they treated me like just number 11, and like as much as sometimes like a lot of people are in that situation, a lot of people kind of just feel like, all right, whatever, we have to kind of just deal with it. That's the way life is. I was just in a really shitty spot in my life, so like I left that company, I got away from it, didn't work for a little bit, just kind of focused more on my music. And where I'm at now, I'm in a new company. It's me and two really good friends of mine, and we made $500,000 in our first year working, and like as a company, and it was just amazing. Yeah,
I was gonna say you don't have a house yet, dude. Making $500,000.
Yeah, like our company did like exceptional our first year, like more than like we any of us would have expected, and it's great. Like it's only been like a year and a half, and we're already like building some pretty good foundation for the future. So it's good shit. HVAC's really something that I'm glad I got myself into. And even let's say, I mean, I would love if music works out, I start making good money doing that. But if not, I mean, HVAC's definitely a good secondary for me, and it's a good money maker. So
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. So either way, you're doing something that you like, or that at least you're interested in, you're passionate about, and you don't mind getting up to go to work for every single day. Of course, like the music's the first love, but that'll always be there. Whether you keep making music, keep writing, or you end up just doing like these small little tours, like here and there, or it blows up. It like that's really what it's all about. Just finding like what you're passionate about, just working towards it, and just making sure you get to spend as much time as possible doing the things you love to do.
of course, that is like literally probably the most important thing in this world, man. Like we're not living life to like slave away. Like we're not living life to just like hate ourselves and hate what we do. Like people say, I see so many people with dreams, and I see so many other people tell those people like, oh, why are you trying to like be a famous musician? Oh, why are you trying to be a millionaire? Why are you trying to be this? Like it's such a small chance of you like being able to do that. It's like that's such a really
But there's
like
still
negative
a chance, right?
Exactly, of course. And like you shouldn't look at life like thinking like things aren't going to happen. You should, no matter what you're doing, whether it's like an easy goal to achieve or a hard goal to achieve, you should always be like focusing on things that you really love doing. And even if you're not doing like that thing full time, like let's say you're doing something else in place while you're working on your dream, then like if you're doing that, you're in a good place. Because like as long as you're focusing on what you want to do, that is literally the biggest thing that like leads to a happy life, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean, the thing I always think of is even if you don't end up making that over the top goal, like as long as you're working towards it and you're happy, so you're not only making yourself happy working towards something and you feel that satisfaction of, hey, I'm getting closer, like this is progress, like I'm doing great, but also even if you don't make it and you end up failing X amount of times and then it just ends up it's not meant to be, you still end up in a way better place mentally and physically than where you
You would
started.
have been.
So it's all just self-growth. It's all just
Mhm.
self-improvement.
Of course. If you like I believe in like if you set your mind to like realistic goals, like not even like drastic dreams, like dreams that like you feel you can achieve, then you're going to achieve it. It's like all about having like a positive mindset, and a mindset that's just willing to drive yourself to whatever it is you're looking for. Like don't sit there like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Oh, this is too difficult. If you have that mindset, you're already etching it in for yourself that you're not going to do it. Like having that mindset, you're already setting yourself up for that. And that's terrible. I see so many people do that, and it's not good, man. It's not right. Definitely work, whatever it is, work towards it.
Mindset's so huge too, because I feel like so much of what your mind is consumed by, you attract, law of
Of course.
attraction
Man,
is
yeah.
manifestation. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like especially over like the last year, like with COVID and everything, and like just like some stuff I was going through like mentally, the more I thought about things, the more like random things would just kind of happen, like pop in my life, whether it was, it didn't necessarily mean it was good or bad, but it either like taught me a lesson or it was like a blessing. But it was
Of course.
weird. Like, for example, I had like a rough relationship with like my father for like many years. And then out of nowhere, like, cause I was thinking about it a lot, he randomly just popped up at my house and, we kind of buried the hatchet and now we're cool. You know,
Really? That's awesome, man.
like
That's really
random,
good.
like that's just one example. Like there's a bunch of other stuff
Mhm.
like that, but that was just like one of the biggest ones. It's like,
Of course. That shit's
stuff
real.
like that, like just happens. It's like, it's surreal. Like when it happens, cause you're like, if you actually take the time, like to reflect on it, you're like, wow, like I kind of like
I
put
did that.
this in motion.
Mhm.
Of course,
That
you
was
still have to work towards like reaching those goals. Like it's not like you can't just tell yourself every day, like I'm gonna have a six pack, and expect to do it. But that
It goes hand in hand.
Manifestation, yeah, exactly. It goes hand in hand. Exactly.
Mhm. You got to put in the effort and you got to have the right mindset. And like, if you have both of those things, you're going to achieve 99% of the shit that you're looking to achieve. 100%. Like, mentality is unrealistically important, and the effort you put in is also unrealistically important. Two things that really just streamline yourself to a better life, I think.
Well,
For sure.
it's like I follow so many pages and athletes and stuff like on Instagram and everything else. And so many times they'll post like old flashbacks of like tweets or them in like interviews saying this is what they're gonna do, and then they end up doing it, and it's just chilling,
It's
it
crazy.
shivers down your spine.
It's a good feeling.
It's like,
And like,
yeah, it's not, but that's what people don't understand is most of the time when you want something and you're trying to achieve something, greater than yourself in, like a purpose, almost like a destiny, you're not
mm,
going to get it like right away. Like there's no self
of course,
gratification like with stuff like that where,
of course not.
you open up your smartphone or you order a pizza or you go on Amazon, it's like boom, instant, like you get it right there. But
Yeah,
everybody wants like the easy fix, like they want it now, but they're not willing
that's
to work for it. Like
first.
they're not willing to be consistent over like a long period of time, you know.
Hmm.
But part of the beauty in reaching the goal is the journey.
Of
You
course.
find yourself and you find out, different things about yourself and about life in general, just throughout the journey, throughout the process.
Of course, that's huge. And like, setting yourself like waypoints. Like, I took some really good advice from a guy I used to work with. It was all about like future plans and like how to better yourself and like just better life. And like, the one thing he always drilled into my mind is like setting yourself waypoints like throughout your life. So like, if you have something you want to, like, if you have somewhere you want to be when you're like 30 years old, right? Don't just like be like, okay, I wish it was now. Like, oh, like, don't focus on like what you don't have. Focus on where you're going to be in like tomorrow, where you're going to be next week, where you're going to be like an hour from now. You know what I mean? Like, don't expect the thing that you want when you're 30 to come now, but just
Yeah.
appreciate what you do throughout until you get to that point, whatever, like wherever it's going to be, you know?
Well, it's like what Muhammad Ali said. It's a famous quote. It's don't count the days, make the days count. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
it it doesn't matter what you did in the past. If you wake up tomorrow and you're blessed enough to have a fresh start, it's another set of 24 hours. Like you can make it
Hmm.
whatever way you wanted to make it.
Hmm. It's all about what you make it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some people wake up like no motivation, no aspirations whatsoever. They wake up, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have another shitty day. Oh, life sucks. Oh, I hate this. It's like, why are you setting yourself up for that? Like, why are you doing that to yourself? Don't do that. I mean,
There's
like,
so many
obviously.
self-help things where it's like if you start the day off with just like a positive thought, whether it be, you know, I'm thankful I woke up today, or all right, like it's another day, like let's get after it, like something like that. It
Mhm.
just like mentally, it just like gets the gears going and it just skyrockets like the rest of the day. So many people they wake up and it's oh shit, like I gotta go to work, I gotta go to school, like I gotta do this, blah blah, and you're just dragging feet to start off the day. It's like you want to be
Mhm.
jumping right out the gate, and then boom, boom, boom,
Exactly.
you just end up tackling it down.
Hmm. Definitely. And like, depression is obviously a thing too. Like, I know a lot of people who suffer with
Yeah,
like
depression,
sitting.
anxiety is definitely for real.
Mhm.
You know,
Something that I know I experience, and I know a lot of people around me experience the same thing. And like, the biggest thing is to not let that kind of shit eat you alive. Like, if you let depression consume you, depression's going to consume you. But like, what you have to do is you just have to understand that no matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, you're going to get through it. You can't just like fester in it, because if you fester in it, it's not going to go away. You're going to be there day in and day out. You're going to be sitting doing the same shit, hating life, like wondering why you're getting out of bed, when instead you could be dealing with it, tackling it, and being like, all right, this depression is going to be like, it's going to end. I'm going to feel better soon. I'm going to have a better day. I'm going to feel better mentally someday soon. And I'm looking forward to that day. And like, then it will.
yeah, and that shit's all it's for real. Like for a while, to be honest, just because I had gone through so much stuff like when I was younger, and obviously like everybody has anxiety, but I was always like, fuck that, like that shit ain't real, like that's like for pussies, like that's and
Mhm.
it's all misconception out of ignorance. I mean,
It
you
does.
don't know from the perspective of somebody who's actually suffering from it,
Yeah,
and they get to deal with it every day, even if it's just kind of like an onset thing. People who go see therapists or have medication.
of
But
course.
it was always just like fuck it, like hunger mentality, like I got to eat regardless, so I'm going to go out and get it. But
How?
it's another thing too, like with so many people's perspectives, like they don't sit down with people who are going through this stuff and get to understand and get engulfed like in that realm, so they only know from their own level of perception you know but once I actually like started talking like to more people who had anxiety or had like depression and actually like your perspective changes and you realize, hey, you were wrong about this, and you kind of take it like with a grain of salt, and you realize, it's not as easy for Joe Schmo to go about their day and be able to tackle their problems and all that, because they got this mental war going on like nonstop.
Hmm.
So it becomes an issue. But like you said, where you get your actions going and it kind of just spirals from there. It spitballs. Like it's so important to not sit in that bed of depression, that bed of anxiety,
Hmm.
because then like the inaction like breeds fear, whereas action usually breeds confidence and motivation.
Motivation.
And
Yep.
it just keeps rolling down the line, and you end up tackling all these different things, and you can look back like, hey, I didn't
I'm
let it
so
get the best of me. I just got all this shit done.
glad.
Let's get it after tomorrow. Like maybe I could do it again tomorrow, and it just keeps going, keeps
Exactly.
going, keeps going.
Witnessing your progress is like very important. Like seeing where you've come, whether it's like a couple days or a week, like if it's a small goal or a big goal, just like understanding that like you're making progress if you're putting in the effort to do so. And like that's motivation for me. That's juice for me. Like if I see it's been like a couple months since I've been like playing guitar, trying out a riff or something like that, and I'm like, wow, I can do it now. Like all this progress has paid off. Like all this work has paid off. It just makes me want to keep going. It makes me want to like continue on, And like what you were saying about like perspective is so important. Like other people, there are so many people I know who like are really intelligent guys, whatever. But like, if you're not like listening to other people about their experiences, if you're not like trying to understand like another side to a story, then like you're just as ignorant as anybody, as like anybody else who does the same thing. Like always like take as much as you can from like another human being, because like there's like 90% they're not going through the same shit that you're going through. So like it's always good to like kind of just take in what like anybody's saying or any advice anybody's trying to give to you, even if you think you're smarter than they are. Always take any advice anybody gives to you, because you never know what they've seen or what they've experienced or what like you may experience from what they're telling you. Shit's very important. It's good
No
to always
matter
take it.
no matter who it is, like every person has some sort of wisdom or some type of knowledge into some aspect that can add to your own experience. And
Of
even if
course.
they don't, and you think you're a total fucking idiot, like you could still learn from them.
Of
If
course.
you think somebody's a total moron, maybe what aspect of what you think is like that makes them like an idiot or makes them stupid or makes them a jackass, like it could be like some dude's like trying to pick a fight with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of reflect on it and be like, I don't want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
If that same situation would to come up, like would I act the same? Like how would I react? So even like stuff like that, like, people don't think like that. It's just like, all right, like fuck that dude, whatever. Like he's a piece of shit, and you kind of just move on, go on like with your day. But I feel like that's a point for a lot of people is they can reflect on no matter who it is that they come across and just kind of learn from them, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
a good or bad situation.
Mm-hmm. Every experience is an experience, like anything anybody says or does, like it's always good to kind of just see another view, and like realize, like, let's say they're doing something that's you don't agree with, whatever. It's like, wow, like I took something from that. As long as you take something from any experience, like on like any day that you're living your life, it's good. It's definitely it'll move you up, you know.
Level up, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, ultimately, us as people, as a society, we only progress for, from being animals who basically would eat, sleep, and shit and fuck for like three different reasons. We got opposable thumbs.
Hmm.
Um, shit, I was thinking this the other day. We got opposable thumbs.
We got
Um,
pretty well
we
developed brains.
Yep, pretty well developed brains. But with that, I'll go back to that. We got opposable thumbs, pretty well developed brains, and we learn the ability to walk upright. But with the developed brains comes the ability to communicate both verbally and non-verbally. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
us as like individuals, as people, like we would get chewed up like by ourselves and without our ability to make tools and work together and form technology. Like a bear or a shark or dude, even like a moose or like a deer would absolutely like smoke us if they like really wanted to. You know what I mean? Like if we didn't
Hmm.
have weapons or have other people like to show us these like different ways
Of
and means
course,
of evolving. Like
progressing. Yeah.
if you think about it, besides like very small creatures, and even then, like a raccoon or like a fox, like they're smaller than us, but they give us a fucking beating, you know?
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
even a
Seriously.
snake, like,
Hmm.
but the thing that like separates us especially is that we were able to communicate and work together and help one another and learn from each other. Learn how to make a better tool, learn a better method of hunting, or learn a better way of building a house or something for
Mm,
protection. It's so it all just revolves back to like a simplistic human being. Like, okay, we got this far because we worked together and we learned from each other. So how
mhm,
come so many people are trying to divide one another, through
feel like they're
ignorance and
better than
everything?
somebody else.
Yeah, it
Mhm,
doesn't make
like
any sense.
communication, connections, like just being like either nice to one another or just being like, just helping one another and stuff like that, like making connections is like the craziest thing about being a human being, like it's something that like no other like animal or nobody could like do what we can do, and for somebody to be so like secluded and just not care about what like other people have to say, and that I'll never understand that, like that's something that denies growth, like not taking like advice from like another human being or not like seeing another side of like another human story. You're like not willing to grow, you're not willing to like take experiences from other aspects, and that's something I'll never get.
And it's so different too. Like when I think of taking advice, so many times people think, okay, I'm asking this person for advice, so that means I have to follow it because I'm uncertain about myself and about my decision making. It's not always about that. Like advice isn't always just about, okay, ask somebody who you think you could trust and then just go with what they said. Like it's about taking their perspective on an outside situation and applying it to your own perspective and then making a judgment based off of that,
Hmm.
based off your own experience and somebody else's experience. And
I
even
totally
then,
agree.
you don't even necessarily like have to go with what they said. Like you could still totally agree with like what your own gut was
Yeah.
saying and just go with that. But
Hmm.
just to be able to listen to somebody and get that outside perspective can make all the difference in the world.
Of course. And like I see a lot of this kind of stuff with like politics too. Like some people are on one side and like some people are on another side, and like a lot of these people that are on one side, it's like they will never even listen to like the person on the other side. It's like, oh, you're like so stupid. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're crazy. It's like how are as a human, like how are you even gonna think like that? Like it's okay for somebody to have a different view than you. Like the best thing to do in like any situation like that is to, like you said, like take a bunch of opinions and just form your own, like take your own like ideas and opinions and just work off like of other people, like a bunch of other people, instead of just kind of diving into one straight road, like branch out, open your mind, do things, you
Well,
know
did you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender?
of
You strike me
course.
as somebody that would love that show, but I love Uncle Iroh. Like Uncle Iroh, I'm sure
he knew,
everybody does.
he knew
But
his shit. He knew
like the one
exactly.
thing that I keep getting reminded of, like every time that you're talking about, being in one thing, is when he talks about the four elements, and he's like, taking wisdom from one place makes it rigid and stale. It's like you should learn from all the other
Mhm.
elements. So it's like I always thought this that is like, all right,
Big
if
life
you
lesson.
if you only listen to one field of thinking, like only the beliefs of like your parents and your loved ones, instead of like listening to the cultures and the beliefs of other people. And then, for example, you were just saying like politics, you know, Democrats, Republicans, so on and so forth, they only really stay within like their party lines. Like they don't venture out and see like what the other side's all about. And then it
Hmm.
ends up just being a shit show, like fuck you fest,
Hmm.
you know?
Ignorant. It's all
Yeah,
ignorance,
it's ignorance, you know?
and it's sad. Like it's sad. Like a lot of people are like that. Like, I feel that's how the world will always be. That's just human nature. Some humans just like don't have the ability to like progress and grow and like open up and like take different directions and understand different forms of opinion, even if it's not your own or even if you disagree with it. Like just being able to understand an opinion is something a lot of humans can't do. You
Yeah.
know, and it's
Yeah.
tough.
And a lot of people, they like the misery. They like, being in the fight, so it's
They
almost
feed
like
on.
in their nature. Yeah, exactly. They feed off it. It's like their form of attention.
Hmm. Couldn't be me, man.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that, dude. It's too much of a headache.
Seriously, like I'm not even really one for like much conflict, and like I know people who literally just swear by it, who love it, like who just love conflict and like just not like just making sure the other person thinks you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, like what are
It's
you
like you
doing?
want so hard to be right that you're willing to make yourself look like a complete
An idiot.
jackass in the process,
Hmm.
And I personally, like, I can't lie, I was like that too sometimes to a certain degree, you know.
You,
But again, as you grow up and you open your mind more and become less ignorant, you realize in reflection as well, you realize, hey, that wasn't right, you know, and
mhm.
I don't want to be like that anymore. So you change and you grow.
There's more to life than my idiotic narrow ideology.
Yeah, legit.
It's it's crazy, and it's good. Like having the power to grow up, having the power to like understand, and having the power to just get out of that like shitty mindset that you're in. You know, because it's human nature. It's human nature to act like that sometimes. You know, like some humans don't have that ability, so like what they do is they're just stuck. They're stuck inside their own like bullshit, and they're like, ah, screw everybody else. I'm right. Ah, but like it's all about having the ability to get out of that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then like with people too, if you know, if you're so dead set like in your opinion, and this happens all the time, like on Twitter or something else, like you have like you're entitled like your own opinion, whether you know it's a valid opinion or not, but it's still your opinion.
Of course,
But so many people are so quick to say, like, if you don't agree like with my side, my take, then I can't be
you're
friends
wrong.
with you. Or yeah, exactly. You're wrong. Like that's not like you're wrong. Like fuck you. Like I can't be friends with you. Like I hate you.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
it's like that's what makes us different as people is we have different perspective. We have different like
Mhm.
views. So to have a different opinion is naturally going to happen because you're shaped by your experience, you know?
Of course. That's one of the things that makes humans great, like our ability to be conjoined yet apart, you know, like we're all like freaking one big consciousness, but at the same time, like we all have the right to have our own opinions and have our own beliefs and have our own feelings. And like for someone to just condone someone for having opinions like opposite to yours is the worst thing you can do. Like I'm not going to be friends with you because like our political views are different. It's like I'm not going to be friends with you because you like someone that I hate. You
Yeah.
know, like why do you even think like that? Why would you even think like that? Like
Yeah.
what are you gaining? You're not gaining, you're losing. You're losing like a great connection with like a friend or whatever it may be, just because of the way you feel about something. That's so wrong.
I saw this quote on Facebook a couple days ago. It was like, we're all we're all the same, like we're all equal in
Mhm.
person, but we're unique. You know, like we're not necessarily better than the other, but we're unique and we're different, which is what makes us believe like we have a you know a different level, different gauge of us. But it's like at the end of the day, I'm you, I'm me, and you are you. You know, so
And that's okay.
yeah,
It's
that's
it's
okay.
it's, oh, it's okay to be like different. It's okay to have different views. It's okay to feel different things about different things. You
Imagine how
know.
freaking boring it would be if we're all like the same.
Yeah, right. Like all these people, like, oh, why don't you think like me? Why don't you like the same? It's like if everybody thought the same way, like than everybody else, like why would we even live? What's the point then? You know, like what are we? Why are we here? Other than
That
to
would
like, just,
literally be like the episode of SpongeBob when Squidward moves into like all like that. Um,
oh, that society, the squid
yeah, it's like
society.
the all like the squids. They're like all the exact same houses. They all like look the same. Like they're all
Mhm.
doing the exact same routine. He's like going to the play his clarinet. Then he's going to the grocery
Mhm.
store. Then riding his bike. It's like the same thing over and over every day.
And
He just
what
becomes a
did you
mope.
see? Yeah, what did you see in that episode, man? It's
Yeah,
like the first couple days, you was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. They're all like me. They all like the same shit I do. Ah, and then like 3, 4, 5 days pass. It's like, wow, this fucking sucks.
he's like, damn, I actually miss getting pissed off because of SpongeBob and Patrick. Like, I actually miss those crazy assholes.
SpongeBob had some pretty solid points, man. Like that was an adult show for a while. It really had some pretty cool views, and like that episode is a huge example of like society. Like if society was all the same, it would suck. It would be boring. It wouldn't be fulfilling. It wouldn't have like great experiences like actually real life does. You know, it's that episode hit hard, man. That's a pretty big life lesson that a lot of people might not see.
It'd
You
be
know,
rigid and stale,
exactly.
like
It would be.
Iroh kid.
Yeah. Exactly. Great episode. SpongeBob, great show. Top tier.
Oh yeah, I probably quote it all the time. Like
Oh,
at least a
everybody
quarter of the
does.
stuff comes out of my mouth is like a quote from that show.
I'd hope so. Man. It's like got some pretty good quotes, dude. You know,
It's like
they knew what they were talking about.
it's iconic, dude.
hmm it's something everybody can relate to. You know, like it's somebody that like it's something that like I know a lot of people watch and a lot of people really enjoyed, and like it's good to it brings people together. You know. A lot of I love like the Last Airbender. Like I love how like you like watch that show. You know, it's such a great show. A lot of great life lessons. Just really, it's a classic. You know.
And these are like kids' cartoons, you know.
So they knew what they were doing, man. Like my favorite show in the world is Adventure Time. Adventure
Oh,
Time is
he even has
like,
the tatted. Look at him.
hell yeah, dude. Adventure Time was is like my biggest thing. Like I grew up watching it. I remember when it first like aired, I was like young, like much younger, and then it ended like a couple of years ago. Of course, I watched the season finale. I watched like the whole thing, and it really had a lot of life lessons. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about like relationships and like just being content with like certain things in your life. And like a lot of the quotes in that show, it's really hit me hard, and I love it. It's like things that like really bring people together and just put a different perspective on life.
Well, that's the best. Like that's all character building. Like that's like when you get involved like with a character, like that's what really makes the show relatable, and that's what really makes
Hmm.
people want to keep watching it. Is you actually
Hmm.
start to like care. Like it could be like a
Oh yeah.
cartoon or obviously like a live TV show. It's the same thing, same
Yeah,
concept.
of course. It's the same. Animation gets such bad rap sometimes, dude. But like, just being able to create something from like the ground up, like an animator and like a guy who created like any animated show, it's like they took that from their brain and completely grew it like from the ground up. Like live action is live action. It has actors, it has like a script, and it has like actors just talking to each other. But like animation, like it's a voice of someone completely different than like who they are. It's like something completely different from like normal humans. Like a lot of animation you see are like some really weird ass characters, like Jake the Magic Dog, and you know what I mean? And like just being able to create a personality like to that extent is wild to me. And just being able to draw it and like come up with like the art style and like the way they draw Jake the dog and Finn and all that, and like it's a crazy concept. I feel like everybody should you know what I mean? Like I feel like people take a lot from art, and animation is art, and it's just something that I really think has bettered my life.
Well, what's beautiful about it too is based off of the creator, every show in a sense can get different characters and different perspectives from each character, and it's almost like each of those characters are a piece of the whole of the person making them.
Hmm. Of
Like
course.
it's some reflection of their experience or somebody
Hmm.
like they may have met or some type of wisdom that they may have learned, and they just kind of embody it inside this little drawing that they add up all together.
Hmm.
But it's
Of
cool
course.
because even just from that you can learn from like those characters and learn more about that individual who made those characters.
Hmm.
It's just like little chunks of like who you are, what your
Of course.
personality is.
And I see like South Park is like a pretty big example of that too. It's because like the guys even said it with Mike and the other, I forgot what their names were, but dude, they
Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Trey and Matt. Yep.
Yeah.
Both of them, they were talking about how like Eric Cartman and Randy Marsh were both like huge aspects to like their life. Like a lot of the things they say, a lot of the way they feel. I mean, not everything obviously, but
Yeah.
like certain aspects, like they even said like it really relates to like how I feel and like the way I live life and like the way I see like society. Because freaking current eventy South Park is now, and like it really like evolves on the like the way they see life, and I think that shit's super cool. It's like it's really awesome. It's different, very different from live action, I feel, in my opinion. It's the way they portray things and the way like they show people like a completely different aspect of life. Like it's pretty cool. Pretty cool
There's so
shit.
many different options too that you don't have like with live
Hmm.
action and real people. They
Hmm.
can they can
Of
virtually
course.
do whatever the hell they want because all they have to
Hmm.
do is draw it and mock it
That,
up and that's it.
hmm That's like another reason why, because it's an art form. It's a beautiful, beautiful art form that comes to life. Like obviously, like art is like on paintings, drawings, crayons, whatever. But like animation, it's a drawing that like somebody like turned into life. Like somebody turned it into a life. Like those characters, those connections, those relationships that they have in that show, they created life. It's
Especially
pretty well.
like the early building block stuff, like that show in particular, like when it first came out, you could literally just see like there were little clay figures, like
Hmm.
little drawings. I was like,
Yep.
it's so crudely drawn, but it's just hilarious, and then
Oh yeah.
it just gained traction because some people were like, dude,
It was
this
creative.
shit is so funny because they just tell it how it is. Like there's no like,
Hmm.
and obviously they exaggerate a little bit, like, to really sell like the joke home. But it's
Of
just
course.
so funny because they don't sugarcoat shit and they make fun of
Hmm.
everybody, so
Oh yeah.
there's like nobody that's safe. It
That's why South Park was like, well, like one of the main reasons why they got so big is just like you said, like they don't pull any punches, and like not a lot of shows do that to that extent. Is like anymore, a lot of shows like can't. A lot of shows get canceled because like they're too raunchy or too this, too that. But like the way South Park worked, and the reason why like right through the early 2000s they skyrocketed is because they said things that people had in their minds that like nobody would ever dare say. Like you hear like some of the crazy wild shit they say in that show, and you're like, wow, I never thought of that way. Oh wow, I never understood that until it was displayed in like this freaking insane sense. And that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. I love it. animation, man. It really, it's groundbreaking. It's good shit.
I've been dying for them to make more episodes. They only made like 2 episodes in the past year and a half.
Specials, yeah. But I saw, I guess, Comedy Central on Paramount, Paramount Plus.
Yep.
I guess Paramount Plus renewed like all these movies. Like we got a couple more seasons coming up of South Park. So there's a lot of future ahead of them. It seems like they just signed a contract for like a couple million or something like that, like a crazy, like expensive contract for like movies and seasons. So
well, think about how much shit that they have to write about just in the last year alone.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're staying afloat, man. Like
this stuff just writes itself. Like it literally writes itself. Like they get all their material for the most part from like real world events, and they just put these personalities that they've created in place to pretty much live it. It's hilarious.
It's wild. And like I love Family Guy, right? But in my opinion, Family Guy definitely, it's slowed down. Like the jokes got a little stale. Like it's hard to keep a show like that going for as long as it does. And it's still going and it's still fun, but it's just not as funny as it used to be.
When they started to get backlash too with like different characters and different jokes, stuff like that, like they're almost like conforming their ways to, to society, just kind of trying to cancel culture them.
Exactly. Yep. And it's tough. And like what I see with South Park, it's like they're doing a really good job like staying afloat and like seeing what's going on in like everyday life and like doing a good job reacting to like events and the way people act on these events. And like even just like the COVID, for example, it's like everybody knew COVID, like a South Park COVID episode was gonna come, like we're all waiting for it. And then it came out and it's just seeing it, and like people say like it wasn't as good as like what South Park used to be, and like that's fine. But like what they did, they people liked it. People really liked it, and there's a reason for it, Like they put a good perspective on like what people are feeling nowadays, and certain like perspectives and certain like types of people and like how they're affected, and they do good. There's a reason why they're making just as much money as they always been, if not more. People do it right. Some people do it right, some can't, but South Park's doing it right. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you something. By any chance, would you be able to show me a few things on the guitar
right now?
Yeah, or the saxophone, or on like the drums.
Oh hell yeah! I got my guitar right here. I'll play some shit for you.
Because I want to see like, I don't know, just kind of like some of the things that you do to play, or even like some of like your promos, like some of your songs or something, if you have any offhand.
Of course, yeah. This little ditty I've been writing. I try to, like I said earlier, I like to be very progressive with my music. Like classic rock is obviously like a genre that everybody takes, I feel, when they make music, like Led Zeppelin, the classics. But like being able to like do like modern rock like stuff and just kind of figure out all the new shit that's like just coming out, it's really kind of made my writing like really funky. Like this is what I came up with, an intro to one of my newer songs. It's called Get Better. That's the intro to Get Better.
I like it. I like the vibe. I can hear just from you playing it. I can get kind of like that modern rock vibe. It almost reminded me of like one of those early 2000s like movies when they have like the rock songs in it, like American Pie and stuff. But then also kind of remind me of like a Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of thing.
Oh man, they were one of my big ones for sure. They were a huge inspiration for me. The Red Hot Chilies. Like I remember my first couple bands I grew up with was Linkin Park was a big one.
Oh, I love Linkin Park, man. I'm still so heartbroken Chester Bennington died.
Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell of Soundgarden. Like by far one of my two favorite vocalists of all time, dude. Like they were phenomenal. And seeing that like they were such close friends, and like how like I think Chris died first. I think one of them died first, and Chris, the other one Yeah. And like his death just affected Chester like in such a way. And like I remember him talking about it. It's crazy, man. It sucks. The music industry, like all these people think like, oh, if you're a famous musician, you haven't made, like your life should be perfect. It's like, why are you sad? You're a famous musician. It's like there are so many things that these dudes go through, and like they still suffer with like major depression and like anxiety and just like dealing with like loneliness and anything, you know, like being a famous musician or being a famous anything, being rich doesn't mean you're happy, you know.
Yeah.
There's so much more to life than just like material things like that, you know. It's sad.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of that's overlooked, you know.
Money, like obviously money goes a long way, especially with how our society is, but it doesn't buy happiness. Like
Of course
it could
not.
buy all these fancy houses and vacations and everything else, but are you doing what you're passionate about? Are you pursuing
Mhm.
goals? Like are you making meaningful connections with others? Like what semblance of family do you have? You know, it gets overlooked a lot in the pursuit of making a living to make money instead of actually making a life, you know?
Of course. It's and like again, like we were saying earlier, it's like human nature. You know, some people just don't really have the ability to see that, like to see that there's so much more to life than just money and materials and fame and fortune. You know, like there's like the mentality of just having like money or having like something specific and be, oh, I'm fulfilled. You're gonna be happy if you reach that. It's like there's just so much more to living. There's so much more to like your experiences and like your growth and just like having one main thing. You know, sad. Very sad. I was gonna play some Baker Street for you.
Yeah, let's hear it, Lisa.
Got a little what's that one called? I don't remember the name of this, but it's a famous one. You'll hear it.
It's so cool to play an instrument, I just feel like I don't know, like me personally, like I really want to learn to play an instrument, but I don't want to like put in any of the time. I almost would rather put like a brain bucket on my head, tied to your head, and just like kind of absorb your knowledge.
For the data.
Yeah.
I
Just
got
let me
this.
have the knowledge. Let me just have those skills.
It's tough, dude. Like, especially, I remember when I first started playing guitar, I was like, oh man, just the curve, like the learning curve, of like being like able to like get the chords down, and like even, dude, it took me fucking forever to like learn how to write my own music, you know, like
Yeah.
write my own, because like it's just such a whole nother level, and you really have to put a lot of like work in, and kind of you just gotta drill your brain into just doing these specific things, and it's like, it's tough sometimes, but
There's so
you
many
get.
different parts of your mind that you're using as well. Like there's so many
Mhm,
pieces of creativity and I don't even know what like for another better word of just like openness. Like you
mhm.
have to like be open to the music and open to learning and in tune with like a feeling almost, I feel like.
Of course, music, like I was saying earlier, dude, like music is like my whole entire life. You know, 90% of my day spent, I'm spending it listening to music. You know, just like taking in like all these other artists, all these brains, all these like passions, and just taking them in and just like feeling them and like understanding what they're doing and where they're coming from and the words that they're writing down and like how they feel once like when they're doing it. You know, and it's a whole different ball game. Like music is such a beautiful like huge thing that like I feel every human should experience. You know, like when I talk to people and I'm like, one of the first things I ask them, like, so what do you like for music? Like, do you listen to any music or anything like that? And I hear some people say like, oh, I don't really listen to music, you know, whatever. And it's just like, I mean, as a musician, I'm like not trying to, you know, and it's just like, oh man,
Yeah.
you're missing out, you know, like you're really like I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing that like just makes life better for me anyways, you know. I would just love to like share my love and the way music makes me feel with anybody who doesn't listen to music, you know, because it's just such a beautiful thing that like makes my life just so beautiful and just wonderful and makes me happier, you know. And I want other people to feel that same happiness I do, you know.
Yeah.
Basically why I write music. That's why like I turn a lot of like what goes through my brain like into words and into music, because I want people to see the shit that goes on in my brain and like the experience that I have so they can relate to it and understand it and like feel good when they're listening to it, you know?
And that point right there is like the exact reason why I love music so much. Like Yeah, I love like the generic, good beat, cool chorus, like let's
Of
get
course.
jiggy,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
like
Who
that's
doesn't?
cool. But my what tend to be my favorite songs are the ones who relay the human experience. Like they have those great lyrics that you can listen to over and over and over again, and it'll bring you back to a certain moment or a certain time in your life where you were going through that, whether it
Mhm.
was a good experience or a bad experience. And then it almost like makes you feel like, hey, like you're not alone, like this is other people have been through this, like you can get through this,
Mhm. Of
and
course.
it's just it's all good, it's like it's all love,
It's beautiful. Music is beautiful, dude. I have some songs to send you, man. I know. I love watching your bump of the days, man. I love like a lot of the music you share. I'm like, oh hell yeah, good song, good stuff.
yeah.
I'll send you a couple of good ones, man. I know
Yeah,
it's
send them. I love when people and they post like their music and they reshare it, like whether they tag me directly or not, because I'll scroll through like people's stories and stuff and I'll just see
Mhm.
it. But I always try to like give everything a listen. I like a little bit of everything. I have like no distinct thing where it's like, nah, like that's trash, like that genre. Like
Mhm.
I like pretty much every genre. But like I
Want
said,
to know why?
especially those who are more lyrical and they
Mhm.
put more of like their own experience and heart on it.
You have an open mind, like a lot of people don't, they can't say that, like the fact that you appreciate like any type of music, the fact that you appreciate like any form of like art in that sense is huge, because I do the same thing. Like I feel the same exact way, like any type of music, even if it's music that like I don't listen to every day, it's like, oh, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate like the effort that you put in to make this song, to make this little lick, whatever it is. Like I appreciate your art style, and I will always like listen to good music. If anybody like sends me a song or like shows me something, I'll always like put my full extent on like listening to why they enjoy it as much as they do.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I mean,
I love
especially you because you're involved with it. You know just how much effort that gets put into it.
exactly. That's why like I always appreciate like when friends or like anybody just sends me music and like tells me like why they like a song, why they appreciate what like is going on like during the song, because like as a musician, like I take it for what it is, like I try to like evolve, like open my brain up and evolve, and like, oh wow, this is why they like this. Like, oh wow, this guitarist is doing something like that I've never heard before. Like, oh wow, this is like really cool. Somebody really put a lot of effort into this, and I love it. I love that. It's
Yeah.
awesome. For sure. I'm gonna send you a Hail the Sun song right when we end, man. You're gonna love it, I promise.
Yeah. Well, we were talking. I was writing them down. I was like trying to like look them up as well because I never even heard of that band. No, but I'm always like looking for music recommendations, so I'm definitely gonna check them out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll talk. Don't worry. Hell yeah.
What
I
else you
think
been up to besides music and HVAC? I know like we chatted a little bit. You've been working out, trying to dip into like
yeah. So
boxing and
like
stuff. But is there anything specific, like a hobby, like another hobby or something that you're just like pursuing, like you're passionate about?
honestly, like you were saying, is like exercising. Like for a while, I like I exercised a little bit. I went to the gym here and there. I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, oh, trying to get in shape, and then I stopped for a while. And I didn't really do anything specific like in the gym. I kind of just went in there, did some like some weights, some treadmill, and I went home.
Just show it up, yeah.
Exactly. But like now at this point in my life, like just like you said, I'm fine. I'm getting into like boxing and stuff, and like I'm really enjoying it. It's something that like I really like take as like something I can enjoy and like have a good time doing, and just like really like motivate myself to continue doing it and see my body like in 2 years when I'm done doing it, and I'm like, wow, I feel a lot better, I look a lot better, and I enjoy doing it, and that's important too. It's like people who have trouble like exercising and like sticking to like any type of what's the word, like routine, like the best thing to do like with said routine is just to try to do something that you're interested in, try to make it something that you will have a fun time doing, or something that'll keep you motivated to be able to do it the next day. And for me, like that was boxing. Like I'm not trying to fucking start fights on the street or anything, but like I would love to like spar every now and then. I would love to like just
it
involve myself
it
in the world of boxing.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, it's a hell of a workout. I mean, obviously from chatting with me, like like I do a little bit myself, that and a little bit of MMA, but it's not like I never go out my way like to pick fights. Like I'm always just like trying to handle it another way. But if someone
of
wants to
course
come at me,
that
like
was
yeah, I mean, we could throw
I'm like,
down, but
yeah.
it's always self defense.
Mhm.
Just like doing it in general, like you just it's just another thing. Like it's another thing that opens like your mind, like when you
Mhm.
try to do different programs or different workouts or try different music and so on and so forth, it just opens your mind to different experiences and different ways to think like you never thought of before.
Cool.
And then on top of that, like it's hell of a workout and it just keeps you motivated. Like it's
Hmm.
fun to do. Like if it's fun to do, like you're gonna keep wanting to do it.
Exactly.
Whereas I mean I've worked out pretty much religiously for years now. Like the main reason why I started doing it is because I just got bored of lifting weights. Like sometimes you just need to change, you know?
Hmm. It gets boring. Yeah, seriously. Like as much as like it's really beneficial like to lift weights to like do like certain things, like of course. But like if you find something, just like you said, if you find something that you can stick to, it's the best thing in the world. It's a good time. It's good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your future. Like we're talking about bettering our future for like half an hour almost, and like that's just it's part of it. Like doing something that interests you in order to like make yourself like a better you in 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, whatever,
Yeah, something you're gonna stick with long term that's gonna improve your overall quality of life, you know?
Of course, quality of life. That's the biggest thing, man. Quality of life. That should be like the
Yeah.
title. Quality of life. It's the huge something a lot of people don't really think about. And it's a very important thing to think about.
Well, even like me, like people reach out to me all the time about working out and tips and all this other stuff, like how do you stay motivated? And I say it all the time. Like I love working out and being physically active and the way I feel and everything else, but it's more so like mentally. Like I've gone through stints where I didn't work out for weeks, like a week, 2 weeks. Um, and then like my mind was just like junk. Like sometimes, I for the most part for me nowadays, it's more mental than it is physical. Like I don't
Of course.
get the same satisfaction of like going to a good workout. I still get satisfied, but like it's afterward when I just get like that mental clarity and
Hmm.
everything just like starts to make sense. And it's the same thing we were saying earlier. Like when you start to do actions and just perform actions that are bettering you, you almost start to think and your mind works in different ways because you're opening up different neural pathways and your neurons are firing, so it just helps you with problem solving. So it's definitely a tremendous outlet. But it's the same
Hmm.
thing like what you like with music and with you boxing and working out now too. And then anything else like you may be pursuing. Like it gets it's a different experience that is opening your mind up in a different way, you know?
Hmm.
The thing that's the worst possible thing you could do is just be complacent and do the same thing over and over again. Like that's
Yep.
insanity, expecting different results doing the same thing
You
over
beat
and
me
over
to
again, you
it.
know?
You beat me to it. Yep. Seriously. And like it's crazy how many people out there like think that way or like that, like doing the same thing. Like one of my favorite songs is doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's a great song. And like it's such a huge thing, like insanity, like just being able to like sit and expect. It's like, no, like don't sit and expect because you're not going to get whatever it is you're expecting, you know, just like motivate yourself, like push, like put work in, like fight, get towards it. Because like then you're going to start seeing results. You're going to start moving around. You're going to start getting through that river of life and you're going to see, wow, look, I look back and look how far I've come. Look what I've done. Look at the progress I've made. You know, it's big stuff. And
Just makes me
only,
think of Uncle Iroh again, you know?
yep.
When they're walking through the tunnel, it's like him and Aang. He's like, but
Yeah.
if you keep moving forward, you'll come to a better place. It's really what it
Mhm.
is. That
He knew it.
once you stop trying to improve yourself and improve your quality of life, like you might as well be dead. Like how many
Mhm.
times do you
Why
see
are you even living?
yeah, how many times do you see people like they retire or they get older and then they just like
Do
stop
nothing.
doing anything and then
Hmm.
they end up dropping dead. Like,
Hmm.
it's where's
Why?
the passion? Like where's the fire? Like where's the will to live? Like
You still have
who,
like another 20, 30 years after that,
yeah, it's like what are you fighting for? Who are you fighting for? Like even if it's like it's not an intrinsic thing where you're trying to pursue a goal or a passion, but you're doing it for somebody else, like a loved one, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or family, like brother, son, daughter, like what have you, like just to have a reason like to fight and a passion to go on. You got to hold those things dear.
It's important. It's very, very, very important for sure. It's something that like only few of us can do, only a few of us can experience. And like as a human, like that should be your goal, you know, being able to like understanding that like doing those things is the reason why you're going to be a better person, a better you know,
Yeah.
good stuff. Quality of life, man.
Dude, that's
Uncle
the
Iroh
goal.
gets it. Yeah, Uncle Iroh gets it. Squidward doesn't get it. Squidward, I don't know. He
he
doesn't really have
he gets it a little bit.
it. Yeah, I think he understands now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, bro. Well, I had a great time chatting with you.
Of course.
You know, it's
I
always a pleasure, even when you slide into my DMs, you know, to talk with you and
I'm
everything else. I
always
don't
hitting
think
you
did
up.
we ever exchange numbers? I don't think we did.
I think I might have had your number, but then you got like a new number. But yeah, we'll definitely talk more, man. We got to hang out. We got to have these talks all the time.
Yeah, I'm down.
Boost each other up. Give
Hell
ourselves
yeah,
give each
bro.
other
That's the
good
way you
advice.
got to do. You got to have a good team,
Mhm.
you know? That's what
Exactly.
life, like life's a team sport. Like people think they can
Mhm.
just do it solo. Like there's a lot of stuff, trials and tribulations you will do solo, but
Mm.
you're always gonna have somebody in the background, you know, behind you, like pushing you forward, like supporting
Yep.
you, taking care of some things, you know. So, you
Your
know, whether
support
it's
team.
family, loved ones, friends.
Hmm. Oh yeah, your support team making the effort is almost as important as you making the effort. If you have somebody behind you doing just as much work than you, then you're gonna be just as far. You're gonna be getting like even farther in life with the people around you. If you have some great people around you, if you like go out of your way to make connections with some good people who will have the same mindset as you and who want to grow just like you, then you're gonna be that much farther.
Yeah, a lot of times it's who you know, you know.
Mhm. Making good connections, the biggest thing. Something that I learned quite a lot in these past couple of years of like working HVAC, being a musician and talking to other musicians, like forming connections, like making good friends, good like intelligent people, and like taking advice from them and understanding what they're going through. You're like already on your way yourself.
What makes you a better person too, you know, and
Of course.
along the way of improving yourself, like you can pick other people up as well because you'll gain their perspective and then they'll gain your perspective, you know.
Build each other up, man.
Yeah.
I'll get your number. I'll send you some good Hail Sun songs, man. We'll
You know,
vibe.
it's just like surreal too. Like I like how we were talking before is, you know, now you're on Dell show and you did a project like back in high school with some like Dell show.
Mhm. Oh
You
yeah,
know, it was
seriously.
mad funny.
Crazy how that works, man. Comes around.
Like I didn't even think about it until we recently started talking.
Mhm.
You know, and you wanted to check in about being on the podcast and everything, you know, and I was like, oh shit, like that's like a surreal moment, you know.
Mhm.
But it's always great like to reflect and just see stuff like that and see how far you've come.
Mhm. Seeing your progress, man. Seeing your
Yeah.
progress, damn good feeling. It just makes you want to keep going. You know.
Hell yeah. All
Good
right,
shit.
bro. Well, I'll hit
Uh,
you up. I'll get your number and we'll definitely chat soon. I appreciate you coming on.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. It's been a really good time.
Yeah, bro. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon, bro.
See you soon, man.
Take it easy.
Peace. You too.